What's going on, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to the late edition of the Man Up Real Talk podcast, the podcast for the people. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Wiley, saying greetings and salutations to all of you, our faithful followers and listeners. Look, y'all already know we appreciate all the likes, the shares, the clicks, and the downloads, and whatever it is that you do to support this podcast, because we want you to know that it's not about us, but it's about y'all. Because had it not been for y'all, it wouldn't be no us.
That's
and
right.
We appreciate y'all. Look, if you're joining us for the first time, we want to say welcome. And if you're making a comeback, coming back for a second, third, fourth, fifth helping, whatever it is, we say welcome back because your boys is back on the air. And as you can see, joining me on tonight is Mr. Philip Hines, a.k.a. Mr. Classic, a.k.a. OG Triple OG, is in the building. What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother-in-law? Hey, you see my background, right?
You're stylish, man. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with mine.
No, you know why I did this?
No,
I said, since it's Women's Month, for the rest of Women's Month, I'm going to use this background.
You going to use that background?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I got my rave going, so you know how that is, man.
Yeah, you already got that rave going.
I got my rave going, you know. What's going on, everybody? It's Friday.
Yes,
look, another week. We appreciate you know, just being able to see another Friday. We thank God for who he is and for what he does.
Always.
And all of those good things. We just love them to death. Listen, I want to say what's up to those that's commenting in the chat. What's going on, Finest? What's good, fam? Hey, man, I hope everything is good for you.
What's going on, bro?
My sister then finally caught alive. God bless your ministry.
How you doing?
Yeah, that's my older sister right there. Eric, what's going on, man? Hey, I saw you on the
good?
podcast the other night, bro. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that podcast, man.
Yeah, I saw he was on the podcast with a young lady, right?
It was a young lady on the podcast with it was a few people on there.
Yes, I know it's a few people on there. It was I caught some of that.
It was real good, man. You know, I'm like, man, I guess I might actually have to have Eric on the show. I've been telling him
Mama Latham,
come on. Mama Latham, what's going on?
Appreciate no, to be all jokes out, Eric jokes on here, but Eric got a little decorum about himself. You're not hiding it.
Absolutely.
You're not hiding it.
Absolutely. You know, he talks about my background and you know, about we hang out in the same clubs and stuff like that. But you know, I know Eric.
I saw Eric was conducting himself on there.
Yeah.
He got a little decorum about himself.
He was conducting himself with a little decorum.
In the chat. He's a troll in the chat.
Oh my God, he is a troll in the chat, but I
appreciate you for doing it.
Yeah. So we thinking. Listen, this is women's. You know, this is Women's History Month. And we had plans to talk about some women folk on today.
Yeah, we did.
You know what I'm saying? But some stuff came up.
Woo, and did it.
Woo, Lord. Tap your neighbor and say some stuff came up.
Tap your neighbor and see you your feelings.
Yeah. Oh. Don't do that, Phil. Don't.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
Can y'all look can y'all hear me okay? Because let me tell y'all, any and everything that could have went wrong with us going live was going wrong, which leads me to believe that this conversation was meant to be had.
Yep.
And there were forces that was trying to prevent us from having this conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we was gonna talk about some women folk and celebrate y'all. Cause listen, I always say if the Lord made anything better than women and orange juice, he kept it for himself.
Just say women. You don't have to put the orange juice. Relax, man. You don't have to put the
I love orange juice.
Say, okay,
why can't I mention
that's nice. Just say women.
Orange juice is spent. Might I say, Phil, you are looking particularly high definition tonight, man. Now, you know, normally you'll be a little bit on the blurry side. I'll be kind of figuring it's Phil.
You know
here.
what?
Is he not?
Beloved, my brother Eddie, I'm trying to cut down on that, and I'm trying to say ninja.
But you are showing up in 1080p on tonight, sir, and
Mike,
you're looking pretty good. I'm just saying,
Mike. Let's get to the doggone. Get to the doggone thing, man. Don't be doing that, Mike. Don't do that, man.
You're normally showing up in DVD quality, but I'm
Mike,
feeling you.
Mike,
you're looking pretty good on tonight,
Hey,
sir.
you're doing too much now. I never showed no DVD quality. Don't do that.
I'm giving you a
Don't play me
compliment,
like
dog.
that, man.
Nah, bro, you've been in DVD quality for a long time, fam.
Mike, you know what?
I'm talking like not even Blu-ray, just regular DVD.
See,
That's the crazy part.
this is what I'm saying. This brother is real ignorant. I love him, but he's ignorant. So I apologize to our audience that you have to deal with ignorance like this. See,
DVD. And see, I'm not gonna even go this route. I'm not gonna even go there. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Look at him.
Take me off the screen, yo. Come on, Mike. You know I don't do this. Don't do that, Mike. Don't worry about it, bro. I'm gonna see you real soon. Remember, we family. You don't forget we family.
Look,
Eric,
Eric,
I see you. I see you in real life.
Eric, he was showing up in beta.
Mike, that's all right. Get your rocks off, buddy. I see you. You remember, bro?
I was gonna say 8-track, but that has to deal with audio.
I see you in real life.
You know that really wouldn't matter. So look, again, I don't even know how. I don't even know how to start the conversation off.
We got to go down this road again, Mike.
It seems like we go down this road a lot,
and the inbox is gonna be full again, man. Jesus Christ!
It's gonna be we go down this road a lot. So let me preface this by saying this,
please. Put that disclaimer out there.
This is in no wise a let's beat up the church type of episode. I don't understand how and why, when it comes to talking about the church's shortcomings, we as Christians and we as believers get so defensive. And so anytime anybody makes mention of it, depending on who it is, and I understand when it's some people that's talking about it and they really ain't got no stake in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But when people are trying to have an honest conversation about the church, we tend to shy away from it. Like as if the only people who are qualified to have church conversations are pastors. Like the members, like we don't have opinions. We don't see things that be going on. We can't comment on it. We can't say anything on it, because when we do, it's us beating the church down.
Just supposed to be sheep and just follow along.
It's us down in the church. And that's not what this is. But there are times when certain things come up, certain conversations need to be had, and
we're going to have them. No matter how
I will go as far as
we're going to have them.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go as far as saying this: these conversations, when they are had, oftentimes they are held with a certain malice to them, because most people, they just want to talk about the problems, but they never really have any solutions, right? And that's fine, and I understand, and I understand that. But we can't be afraid to address the situations and to address the problems that exist. I may not have
a solution.
I may not have an answer. I may not have a solution. My thing may be just to bring things to light. And then somebody that's smarter than me can come up with a solution as to how we can fix it. But I can't shy away from the conversation. So I just wanted to say, we are not beating the church down. Because I swear to you, every time we have these conversations, it's, why do you all talk about the church? Why? It's how come y'all want to stop it? Just stop. Because if you can't have the conversations, when stuff is not right, when it's not right, and I think we can honestly, and I think we can all agree that there are some things that's not right with the church. The church is imperfect. And you know why? because it's often ran and headed by imperfect people. So there are going to be some things wrong with it, but we can't just blindly go by and just say, it's all right. So Tye Tribbett, for those of y'all that don't know, he is a gospel artist. I believe he's now a pastor of a church.
We gonna work it out. That's my song
Yeah.
too.
That always amazes me though, like how these guys go from entertainers to they just all of a sudden lead churches. Anyway, but he's entertainer slash pastor, and recently he was on the Breakfast Club. Now, for those of you all that ain't really into social media like that and podcasts and internet shows, the Breakfast Club is basically a internet radio show, much like what we do. They're just on a messier level because to me they do a lot of gossip stuff. You know, they it's clickbait conversations, and they often have celebrities and people on there to interview and everything. So, Tye Tribbett was on there recently, and he said some things that got a lot of people feathers ruffled. Finally says, "I agree. We are the ones also being verbally beaten by unbelievers because of certain issues found in the church, leaving us to regularly defend in the church."
Yes, sir.
We do. Yeah, I agree, Eddie. I used to really watch them, but they got to a point where it was just unwatchable, and I just stopped. I don't get down with them like that anymore. But anyway, Tye Tribbett went on. He was recently on the Breakfast Club and had like a 49-minute interview, and he was talking about various things, talking about his career and just stuff that celebrities talk about. There was a clip that surfaced of him making a proclamation, and you know what? I tell you what. Let me just play the video.
Yeah, let it come out of his mouth.
I'll play the video and let you guys if you haven't heard it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll play it for you guys so you can see exactly what Mr. Tribbett is talking about here. All right, give me 1 second, and let's add him to the stage. Come on, Tye. Booyah! Is Tye Tribbett a gospel singer? He is a gospel singer slash pastor slash dancer because he really be getting it in at his concerts too. Now he's not a professional dancer, but he does a lot of dancing. So he's like that. So let's listen. Let's see what Tye has to say. And of course it's muted because there we go.
Publix or something like that. And that's unfortunate for a lot of people who invest
let's go back a little bit because he was talking about
time.
I don't remember the pastor.
You know, man, it was building them huge churches. Everybody was. I think the pastor phenomenon came from. Oh man.
Getting money in the church. It's a bunch of different things. You can speak to it more, but I think getting money in the church and how you look and how you're praised is, and you forget that he's supposed to be praised, but how they praise you and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I see a lot of Instagram pages out there, but it is what
you killed it. You killed that whole thing. I think a lot of pastors were not called the pastor. They just, study, you go to school, and then you just become a pastor, like you become a manager at, Publix or something like that. And that's unfortunate for a lot of people who invest their, money, time, attention, and their soul into people who they believe are literally called from God. I don't believe a lot of pastors are. I think it's a system now. Oh God. It's a system. Everything is a system, and systems work with or without God. So I think the institution of church is whack. I think how church is ran is whack. I think the religious system and structure is whack. I don't subscribe to it, even though I grew up in it. I benefited from it, but I learned that God is not the church.
All right. It's a lot to unpack just within that. I don't know. How y'all feel about that? how you feel about what he said about pastors not being called and leading churches? How do you feel about him saying that church as a system is whack? The religious the organizations is is whack. How do you feel about him saying that church is a system? I want to know what y'all think. I know what I think. I know what Phil think.
Mike, I want to. I
want to know. I want to know what you guys.
Yeah, think. I want to know what y'all think. Because, like you said, me and you just talked about this. And you know what's crazy, Mike? Years ago, when we was bringing up these type of conversations, we was getting shots from everywhere. And now you have these so-called big time singer/pastors and like religious, because Ricky Smiley a couple years ago, he was on, I think, Vlad. I gotta find the video. I'm gonna find the video and send it to you one day. We're gonna talk about
that's another culture vulture right there.
Yeah, where he was like questioning the Bible and questioning all that, and then you had your boy Kirk Franklin a couple of years, and it's just crazy how what we was talking about years ago, we was getting killed for, and now you have these big time so-called gospel folks coming out and saying it. So what I'm saying is it got to be some validity to that, all that. It has to.
Yeah, I think he mad because he didn't get paid from Crimea River.
You know what? Jackie, give me an honest answer now. Come on.
He's right. He's right about systems. Systems work with or without God. Now, look, let me tell you something. That statement alone,
yeah.
Listen.
That's what I'm saying. But I want to hear from y'all. This is about y'all.
Yeah, do you all have a problem with what he said? I see.
Yeah, come on.
There's truth in his statements, but the generalization was off base. How is it that there's truth in his statement, but his generalization is off? If you can expound on that a little bit, I kind of want to understand what you mean by that. Jackie also said that he's right about systems, and he's right that he benefited from. Absolutely. He referred to it when he said that the church was whack. And he talked about all these things. He also acknowledged that he benefited from it. His career, was because of the church. It's who he is. The church folks basically supported and built him. I don't believe church is whack. We often throw the baby out with the bathwater. The church has, I think she meant value. Yeah. I absolutely believe that too. So when you talk about the church is whack, I think a lot of people took offense to it, as we often do, because it's just like when you're a part of something and when you believe in something and when people come against it, you get defensive. Yeah. It's just natural. You know what I'm saying?
Especially however, if you're someone who have been in church for like almost all your life, you're gonna feel some type of way about any type of statement that puts the church in a bad light. So I can understand that. I can understand that.
The problem that the people that I spoke to, and even me initially, when I first heard what he said, is that I was upset with the audience to which he was addressing it, right? Most people that watch The Breakfast Club, and actually, I don't even want to make that generalized statement, but let's just say that The Breakfast Club have a predominantly secular audience. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So they have a predominantly secular audience. They are a secular show. And so you go on as a gospel entertainer, right? One who makes songs about the gospel, proclaiming the greatness of God, proclaiming the greatness of Jesus. And you have a career that you have built off of these things. And then you go on a secular show and you say things like the church is whack. You say things like pastors are no longer sent because they can go to school and learn how to be a pastor, and then they can be promoted like managers at Publix or Walmart or whatever. You go in there and you say the religion as is whack. You go on there and you say that the church is now a system, and that systems don't require God to work. So you go in there, you make a lot, you make a lot of proclamations to an audience that probably already feel a certain way about the church anyway. And you got folks up in arms. I'm gonna be honest with you. I felt a little betrayed when I saw that clip. I did, and I was like, wow. I said, why would he get on there? Why would he say that? Because oftentimes when these conversations take place, they are with people who have intent on bringing bad light to the church, right? Like there is no, hey, let's talk about this so we can find a solution. It's no, this is what's wrong with the church, and the church is this and the church is that. That's generally how those conversations go. And I was mad. I was angry because when I saw him and when I saw that clip, I was like, how dare he talk about the very thing that put him in the position that he's in? And he was like, I benefited from it, but the system is whack. It's terrible. These pastors ain't pastors. A lot of them ain't 1 cent. They just went. And I'm
but
like,
see,
dang.
Mike, that's when the little hypocrisy comes in.
Yeah,
Because don't get me wrong, you dropping. I mean, you saying little facts of what you're speaking, but you can't fight, and then you try to, but you're not making it sound good because I acknowledge that I benefited from. No.
Yeah.
No.
So you said a lot of believers, a lot of Christians. You said some offensive stuff. But
do you think you could have worded it better?
Why?
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing at the wall.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Here's why I say that. And this is where the conversation's finna go left. I don't necessarily believe that what he said was wrong.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Do you think he could have worded it different than how he said it?
I
think
don't,
that would have came off better?
No. But what would be the reason though? Just to make Christian people feel better about what he said?
Okay,
you know
yeah. Let's throw that at the wall too. Say he would have said it to not kind of offend Christians. How you think he could have worded it better, a different way, and still got the truth that he was speaking in the process of him speaking out through wording it different?
I think that we have to be we can't be so we can't be so timid to how people say things.
Yeah.
Right. And this is coming from someone who had to learn tact. And I thank God for my wife. I thank God for her because over the years, especially in my younger years, she taught me how to say what I needed to say without being, like offensive or cold or cut
Get you a
off
filter,
because,
man. That's all. Get you a filter.
right. And it's
that
because
do it for me too.
Because here's the thing. It's not what he let's have the real conversation. What he said was not necessarily false. There are some things in the church that's whack. And I think that's where the disparage is, because when you say that the church is whack, and I think maybe that's what DS meant, when you make a generalized statement like that, when you say that church is whack, then what you're doing is that you are putting everything,
this is what I'm saying,
every aspect of the
Exactly.
church in that statement and saying that this is whack. So maybe what he could have done, yes, Mel, there are some things. I can't honestly.
Yeah, what's good, cuzzo?
I can't honestly sit here and say that there is that the church is just, everything is just wrong with the church.
No, you can't. No.
It's not because it's not. Are there some things that needs to be addressed in the church?
Yes.
But
I would never sit there and say the church is just messed up all over. No, I'm not gonna do that.
No, because and the reason why I wouldn't subscribe to doing that, especially on the format that he was on, I probably would have chosen my words a little bit carefully, because here's why.
Thank you. That's all. What? Thank you. Come on, explain it to me now.
You don't want to give people ammunition. You understand what I'm saying? Like you already. First of all, you are someone who openly admitted that I benefited from this this particular thing, from the church, right? Yep. And what you're doing to me is that you are giving ammunition to those that already have grievances with the church. You're giving ammunition to those that have been hurt by the church. You're giving ammunition to those that already see the church and religion or religious organizations in a bad light. They don't even believe in God, half of them. And so you are giving them this ammunition as to say the church is whack and religion is whack and all of these other things.
Because of who you are.
And it looks bad because of who you are.
Yes, sir.
You're somebody who you've made songs praising the God that church is that the church was built on. So when you go out there and you say church is whack, what people are hearing is church is whack, the Bible is whack, Jesus is whack. They are incorporating.
They didn't hear his
message.
Mike, what you said, Mike, is in the process they didn't hear your message. They just heard church is whack and ran with that.
And they ran with it. So I understand why people are upset. It's just like when you look at the story of David, right? And how the Bible talks about David, and it talks about how David was a man who was after God's own heart. And what did David do, though? David messed around and slept with his best friend's wife.
Oh, young Bathsheba. Was it
got
Bathsheba?
Her pregnant. Yeah, it was Bathsheba. Got her pregnant and then tried to send him off so he can get killed. He tried to make him go and like, hey man, go be with your wife, because he didn't want it to come out that he was the one that did what he did. And so when the prophet came to him and told him all the stuff that he did, was like, bro, you did this thing.
Yep.
Do you know? And God was legitimately upset with David.
Yes, he was.
He was upset with him because he sinned, but then he was upset with him because of it was a bad look.
Yep.
People refer to you as a man who's after God's own heart.
He was in fit.
And you go and do some stupid stuff like this. Do you know how that makes me look? How that makes this whole walk look? So yeah, people are pissed off at you, Tye.
Yeah,
and you
that's
have
why
to.
I said I might not try to cut you. That's why I can't really get mad at the church folks who want to have attitude. Because, like I said, it's some folks that have been going to church their whole life, and if they took offense to this, I mean, I make fun of them, but I can't get mad at them. Oh, y'all fellas, but I can't knock you. I mean, you know,
But I understand. I understand why people are upset
exactly
with what he said, because it's just not a good look.
No,
it's just not.
You one of our biggest gospel artists.
What?
And if you saying that, then we ain't gonna get nobody to come to the church. If Tye Tribbett saying it, we already got your boy Kurt up there with his shirt unbuttoned and gyrating every time you see a gospel song.
And then that's another thing. It's like when you got people like, and these are the ones. These are the ones. Like, and again, I don't have anything against Tye Tribbett. I enjoy. As a matter of fact, I love his music.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Love his music.
Work It Out is one of my favorite songs.
Listen, Work It Out, and He Turned It. Come on, man. You know, so I understand why people are upset with him making the statement that he said, and I 100% agree.
Y'all thought this pod was gonna go a certain way, didn't y'all?
And I 100% agree, Jackie. We need to be better representate. We need to represent God better. And I agree, we need to define the church.
Yes, sir.
Because let me tell you what the church isn't. And this is just my opinion. The church isn't the fancy lights. The church isn't the smoke machine.
Preach, brother.
The church isn't the really big screen that you have in the background with all your fancy graphics and stuff. The church isn't your 3-day seminars that you charge $500 for people to come to give them a word from the Lord. A word that you say is life-changing, a word that you say, once you get this word, your life will never be the same, but you need to pay $500 to get this word.
Yep.
That's not the church. The church isn't members serving for years and being overlooked purposely because they don't look the part.
Preach, brother.
That's not the church. The church isn't hypocrisy. You preaching and teaching one thing, but you living the complete opposite of it.
Ooh.
That's not the church. The church isn't how much your outfit costs you. The church isn't how much your bag costs, how much your shoes cost, how much your suit costs, how much you can match your suit.
Get in your bag, brother Law. Get in your bag.
That's not the church. The church ain't celebrating the people that gave the most money that year. That's not the church. And yet and still, these are the things that exist in the church.
Yes, sir.
The church isn't cliques and groups. It's not, hey, this particular person in the church is popular, and so they try to get all the people to come and be with them. That's not the church.
That's right.
The church ain't gossiping. The church ain't backbiting. The church ain't wanting somebody to fail. The church ain't not supporting your fellow brothers and sisters who are in your church.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the church.
Yes, sir.
And yet and still, these are the things that exist in the church. So now let's continue on, because I want to finish playing. See, that was just that 20 seconds.
Y'all,
of what he was,
that was the sound bite. Y'all need to hear the rest of what he said.
That was the sound bite of what he was saying. But I want to play the rest of what he said. I want to play the rest of what he said. Let me get back to that. Hold on. Let me bring Tye back onto the stage here. Come on, Tye.
And once I realized, whoa, God ain't church. That for me, you know what I mean? I ain't from the streets. I'm from the church. So that was a huge thing as well.
It's in the Bible. It says you can't even find God in a man-made temple.
Why don't we read that though? How often do you hear that sermon? No, you hear pastors make the people about the church. We got the church name, we church and the bumper sticker, the church. The church should be about the people. The church should be about the people, but the church makes the people about the church. So all churches now are a movement, but they're not about the people. They're not about serving and loving the people. So I just kind of pulled that. We're online right now. We're not even in a building, a physical building or nothing like that. So Live Church, shout out to Live Church. I love y'all so much. Live Church Orlando, we're online right now. And because we had an issue with a building. And now I'm like, hold up. What's going on here? Like, do we need like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, in order to do what we need to do, affect people, serve and love and minister, I'm just looking at everything differently at this point, because the church structure has really, I mean, there's a lot of people who won't even go to church. Obviously, when the last time?
So then he kind of goes into talking to them about why they don't go to church and stuff like that. So let's listen. Y'all know I like flipping the coins on this show. So we talked about all the things. We talked about how, what he said was wrong and why he said it. He shouldn't have said it, and the platform that he went on, he shouldn't have did that. He should have chose his words wisely. But let's talk about what he actually said.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why. Let's talk about why he believes that the church is whack. And for the very things that I mentioned, those are some of the issues that people have in the church. These things exist.
That runs people away from the church.
And that runs people away from the church.
Yes.
It just does. And do you know, here's what kills me about us. And I had a discussion with, not really a discussion, but we just kind of commented on the post. And he was just, and I had made the analogy that, these conversations, when we talk about church, it was like, well, these things need to be handled internally. They shouldn't be made public, and they shouldn't be talked about publicly. We need to handle these things internally. But you're dealing with the people. How is this going to remain internal? You know what happens when things remain internal? The Catholic Church.
All the little boys with issues now that they grown men. Because everything was being held. Everything is being kept internal.
Everything was internal. We'll handle it internally. How did that work out?
Not well.
How is that working?
A lot of grown men walking around this earth right now with a lot of trauma.
With a lot of trauma.
What was being done to them when they was little boys.
Because the Catholic Church wanted to handle things internally. Now listen, I believe that yes, everything doesn't need to be made public, because it's just like I said, I made the analogy of the issues that we have. It's just like in a marriage. When you have issues, if you don't confront those issues and if you don't talk about those issues, eventually what happens is you have one or both parties that want to get out of that particular marriage, right? And so now, and so the response was, well, yeah, but those things can be talked about. You don't publicize the issues that you have, with your marriage, and they're handled internally. But here's the thing. People still know. People still know when you are having issues. They know. They know when everything ain't right in paradise. They know. Even if you don't talk about it, even if you don't broadcast it, they know.
They probably won't tell you they know, but they know.
But they know. And so when you talk about when it comes to the church, you have to understand why people feel the way that they feel. The church for years has bullied people. They've guilted people. They've shamed people. They've belittled people. And these things were done publicly. Publicly. This isn't something that was done on the low and on the hush hush, and you had to, somehow come about some conversation where you're hearing about the stuff that's good. No. These things were done publicly to people. And you wonder why people feel the way that they do about the church? Because these are some of the whack things that's still going on. These are some of the whack issues that have not been addressed. These are some of the things that people will support as if nothing is wrong. You can't have a pastor sleeping around and you as a church still have standing up before the people talking about what thus said the Lord. When he will turn right around and sit you down as a choir member because you're having a baby out of wedlock.
Yep. Ooh, yeah. See, we're going there.
How does that work? How? I mean, y'all make it make sense to me. Maybe I'm looking at it with a skewed filter. I don't know. Kelly said I have an issue with saying the church. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Bible, the church was referring to believers in a certain place. The buildings were called tabernacles. There were no names. Exactly. And so when you say the church, aren't you referring to the people? Not necessarily the building. You're referring to the people. You're referring to the organization. You're referring to what's going, because that's who the church is, right? Whatever church you go to, they say I'm part of so and so and such and such, tabernacle, so and such and such missionary Baptist church, so and such Pentecostal church. We take pride in being part of those churches. We take pride in it. And so, yeah, it's not the building that's the problem, but it's the people.
It's what's inside the building.
It's what's inside of the building. Understand that the very people that are outside of the church are inside of the church.
Yeah.
You got gossipers in the church. You got liars in the church. These things, all the things that you thought you were going to get away from when you got saved, that stuff exists in the church. So again, it's not so much that what he said was wrong. I think where he said it, or where he chose to express how he felt about it was, and the audience that he chose to talk about it to, I think he could have did differently. But again, on the flip side of that coin, I don't believe what he said was wrong in the least bit. We have issues in the church. We talk and listen.
But see, Mike, this is the problem that I get with the whole thing. We need to find solutions, because the first thing everybody always wants to say is, talking, this find a solution. You're never going to get to a solution if you don't talk about the problem and deal with it.
Yeah.
But it's like no one wants to deal with the problem. They just want to say, well, instead of talking about it, just find a solution. No,
Well,
it's not that easy.
I think it's that. And then when it listen,
word it correctly, Mike.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Take your time. Take your time, young man. We doing good.
It all starts from the top. It all starts from the top.
Yeah,
And
attitude
I
reflect
think
leadership.
and I think I so Eddie says that you won't get to a solution if you can't see or admonish the organization of the problem. Exactly.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, brother.
You have to first
to
acknowledge that there are issues, right? That's what we have to be open and we have to be honest about that. Do you know? And see, when people be like, well, I have a problem when people make the church's problems public. Do you realize how foolish we make ourselves look? What's this guy? What's the little soft looking guy? He has the man bun. Oh my God.
Like, what you talking about like this?
Michael Todd. Michael Todd.
Who is that?
I don't particularly have anything against Michael Todd, but I'm not particularly fond of him either.
Who is
I don't know how he is. He's a pastor of a large church for the most part. But Michael Todd is always in the media, and not always necessarily for the messages that he's bringing that makes it really seem like, oh my God, I'm glad I was like, this message really blessed my soul. No, it's normally because he to me, he comes off as a performative preacher. He uses a lot of props and he does all of these different things, gets his hair cut on stage, and he does all of these really things, these really he does these things that don't necessarily sit right with me. And some people don't have a problem with him, but you know, it is what it is. I don't particularly care for him. I guess I'm a little more traditional. I'm a little more old school. A lot of people say, well, he's for the young people. All right.
Because a lot of young folks are in it for you got some,
but a lot
it's about the entertainment part.
I was just about to say, see, a lot of the
let me tell you something. Kirk Franklin, I can't remember how long ago he said this. He said that when he was making all that music, you know, with the hip hop and you know what I'm saying, with the rap and all that, he said he realized that they were singing and dancing to it, but it wasn't pulling nobody to God.
Listen, but we all felt we all was drawn in by Kirk Franklin.
Oh man, Stomp went hard in the hole in the walls. I went into church then.
Everybody was stomping. Everybody loved Kirk Franklin. And his thing was, you know what? This is for the young people. But here's my thing, Kirk. That was almost 30-some years ago. Those young people ain't young no more.
Now, Just For Me is a nice song, though, Mike. I got to hear Just For Me is a nice song.
I'm just saying, it's like, I get you were for the young people, and that's how you were drawing them in. But now, where's your growth? The people who you were catering to, they grown and got kids.
Yeah.
And you still talking about this is for the young people. Stop it.
And that's what he say he realized that even though they was enjoying his music, it wasn't pulling nobody to God.
It wasn't pulling nobody to God.
It was in there people singing and dancing.
You just had good music. You had folks in the club singing about Jesus, just like Kanye. Yeah. They was playing Jesus Walks in the club. Here's the thing.
She's walking hard too.
You can't get mad when things come out about the church when we are putting ourselves on display.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Todd recently was in a video, and I don't have that video, where he was discussing about how he had some members to leave who had been with him for some years. And when he asked them, and he was upset with these members because he asked them, why are you leaving? And the people reply, and the person or people reply, well, because the Lord told me that it was my time to go. He didn't accept that answer and told them, you need to give me more than the Lord just told you to go. First of all, who are you? I get you're the pastor, but let's get a couple of things clear. You don't own me.
No.
And if the Lord, who I'm serving, because I'm not serving you, if the Lord told me it's time for me to go, then guess what? 2 fingers to the side, homie. I'm gone. I don't owe you an explanation. I don't have to give you a reason, because here's the thing. You don't give me reasons as to why you do me the way that you do.
All right.
There's no explanation as to why I serve on a particular board for 10, 20 years and never get a thank you, never get an appreciation, nothing. And yet somebody can come off the streets and be here for a couple of months and you put them in leadership positions. You got them over things where you don't even know if they even really love the Lord. But I've been serving for years, and you put these ninjas in a place of position, and then you wonder why? I don't owe you an explanation.
But this is what you're supposed to talk about, Mike.
But exactly, these are the things that people don't like to talk about.
You know.
Just like
this is where that term, this is where they got that little term church hurt from. See, yeah. that's what a lot of church folks did. They took people real issues with the church and they gave it a label.
And they gave it a label. And
so now people that have real issues, Mike, guess what? Now you have an issue with the church. You're scared to speak on it because now if you have an issue, you're just church hurt.
Yeah, you're church hurt.
Man.
And then let's even go here. If I have a problem with the church and I make it known, just like in this case with him, that's all they told me, and I wanted to. You have to give me a better explanation than that. No, I don't. But see, my thing is that same argument that you want to use about not talking about the church's problem publicly. Why are you over the pulpit talking about an issue that you have with a single member? Now you're making it an issue with everybody. And the people, and now they're looking at the people who leave or the person that's leaving, and they're looking at them like, oh man, why you ain't telling why you're leaving? So you're involving everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You put this clip goes viral because you put the clip out there. You put it out there. And you wonder why people is coming for your throat? Ninja, please.
He should have known that.
But see, these are the things. These are the whack things that goes on in the church.
Yeah, man.
These are the things. Pastors now. And I know it sounds like I'm beating up on pastors, and it's not, because I love pastors. I understand that being a pastor is one of the most difficult jobs in the world. I get it, because the Lord has charged you over a group of people. You're responsible for these folks' soul. You're responsible for teaching them and leading them the right way. You're praying for them. You have to wear multiple hats. I get it. But also, that being said, you have to understand that a lot of the issues that's in the church is because it's never handled by the leader of the church. And you all can take that the way you want to, but it's the truth. A lot of the problems that exist in the church is because they are never addressed by the person that needs to address them. And it's probably because these are the people that wasn't really sent by the Lord. So they don't have the discernment. They just got the degree. And these are the folks that's leading the people, that's supposed to be leading people to God.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why he said that the church is now a system. Because it almost seems, and please understand, I am not saying it's about every church. But it seems that church over the years have become more about the business of church and less about the business of saving souls.
Yep.
We're concerned more about the production value than the progress of somebody's faith and belief. And it's on public display. Can Burrell go out there and say some off-the-wall type of stuff? And it's just like, and we sit there and we laugh at her, and she's going to continue to do it.
She be at somebody else's church the following week doing the same thing.
Yep. She's going to be at somebody else's church doing somebody else's church doing the same thing.
It's not going to stop nobody from letting up in they pulpit.
Do you wonder why? What?
Okay, word it correctly, Mike.
Do you wonder why your congregation hasn't grown? You may want to consider the fact that maybe some of the people you got there is running folks off. Because when they get there, they see the issues. And when they get there, they see how the issues are never addressed.
No, they never address.
They're never talked about.
Because sometimes the majority of the issues is coming from the ones that's in the top-notch crew. So they're never going to be addressed.
Right. And exactly, Kelly. See, they'll give her a pass.
Put Kelly up.
Because
Kelly.
They want to see her perform.
She'll never be able to, she go to any church getting their pulpit act the fool.
Do you know how many examples I've seen of like public examples, things that's been put on that's out there of the things that goes on in the church, things I've witnessed. Not just in my church, but in other churches. And again, this is not an indictment. This is not an indictment. This is an acknowledgement that there are some things that's wrong. And they need to be addressed. And here's the thing. I can offer all the solutions in the world. But if the leader doesn't implement them, it don't matter.
No.
It does not matter. Everything stems from the head, and it has to be handled from the top. And if we can't acknowledge that, then all of the issues that we have, we can sit up and talk about it all day long, and it won't matter.
Well, Mike, let's be real. These issues ain't just started yesterday, man.
No, they come on. These are things.
The one thing I'm be real with you, Mike, and I'm finna be real with you, man. Like I don't know. I think you said you grew up I didn't grow up in church, man. But on my block, there was a church on each corner, man. And like I said, man, them people was some unlike people who was coming up because they were some of the rude, nastiest people that around. And the craziest part was like these supposed to be people that they go to church, and we see these people every Sunday going to this church. But they some of the nastiest, rude people in the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So these problems ain't never, and the only reason why they keep going on because don't nobody want to talk about it. If you raise a lot of people that's raised up in church, man, let's be real, man. They got tunnel vision, man. They know what's going on, but they don't want to speak on it because they only see they tunnel vision. They only see one way, one thing. And if you speak against what they see, you're the problem.
Yep.
Simple as that.
I agree. And you know what, Jackie? I agree with you 100%. I thank God for the pastors who are doing it right. And listen.
But you notice the majority of the pastors that's doing right are those storefront, small pastors. A lot of these big time pastors, them the ones that's doing the most, man. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say all the stuff. I'm saying, but some of the pastors that got these small congregations and all that, a lot of them are trying to do right, are trying to spread God's word correctly, but they just don't have the reach. You get these dudes with these mega churches, man, that think they're God because they got 300,000 people in their congregation. It's a lot of them that feel that they're God. So they feel they can do what they want to do.
Yeah, it's
I just think that he should have worded it correctly, in my opinion, Mike. You can't come off as a hypocrite and then go straight into that. So I can't get mad at anybody that found that kind of got. Like I said, I joke with y'all. Y'all got y'all feelings. Y'all got church hurt, but I can't get mad if you did get mad at what he said. But a lot of what he was saying was true. But like I said, some reason in church, don't nobody want to talk about the problem. Just we keep going along.
Yeah, I don't mind. Again, I don't mind so much what he said. And I'm gonna tell you this: I saw some people respond to what he said, and I was like, the audacity that you're trying to just because. And see, this is what I don't like. What we do, we try to discredit what was said based on the person who said it.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes it's not about the message; it's about the messenger, Mike. It's
about the messenger. Somebody said something earlier. See if we can bring that comment back up. Okay, yeah. So, like Kelly said, that's the problem with Tye Tribbett's statement is because people go to see him perform, and so when you go to see him, and he knows what he's doing, you know what I'm saying. So you can't talk about that aspect when you benefit from it. When people
that dude didn't go on Breakfast Club to save not one soul. He don't Breakfast Club to get record sales and see if he gets some people to come out to his next show. He probably had a show in New York, so he probably trying to sell tickets. He wasn't there to promote the church. He was there to promote himself.
Yeah, he probably did. And you know what? And and you're right. It's not just the big churches, but it is a mindset because there are some small preachers who have that same. No,
I agree with you and Sis Law. But what I'm saying is I see it more in the mega churches with the mega church pastors. I'm not saying I know it's a small town pastors that got that mindset. Yeah. But what I'm saying is I see it more with the mega church pastors. Or maybe I think it's that. Maybe because I'm not a church. You know what I'm saying? I'm only tied to one church.
No, it's not that. I think it's because it's a mega church. It's going to get that type of publicity.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
but I agree with both of y'all on the mindset.
It's going to get that type of publicity. But one thing I will say, and actually I think Kelly said it earlier. A lot of the times the issues are never talked about,
No,
and they're
man.
never addressed because the leader feels that if he or she has to acknowledge these problems, then that means that he or she is not doing a good job. And that's not the truth. People are people, no matter
one's
where they
perfect, man.
are.
No
It's
one.
not.
I don't
It's
care how.
only
I don't care if you can spit the Bible from back and forth, Mike. You're not perfect.
Yeah, it's only a reflection on you as a leader when you continue to let it go on.
Mm-hmm.
When you continue to not acknowledge it, when you continue to not address, and I mean really address it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're looked upon, and that's when it's a bad look for you, you know. And yeah, some pastors are afraid of telling the people the whole truth because they don't want people enlightened. They want to keep them kind of under subjection to certain things. They don't want to lose that control because some pastors are really possessive of their people, real possessive.
That's crazy.
But
That's
it's
crazy.
the truth. It's the truth. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But again, these are the conversations that need to be had. I love the Lord. And I know for a fact that had it not been for him, I don't know where I would have been.
That's right.
And to be honest with you, me having this belief system that I have is really the only thing that's keeping me kind of holding on in the craziness that's going on in the world. I don't believe, however, what we have always been taught, which is that, I don't prescribe to the notion that church only exists inside of a building.
It don't.
Because it doesn't. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that needs to be addressed. The church is just not within the four walls.
How many times you come in the tabernacle, Mike?
Man.
How many times Jesus came up in there?
I think it was just it wasn't too many.
And when he came up in there, what did he do?
He was kicking stuff over. It was like, really? Y'all selling stuff?
That's all I'm saying, man.
Look. Every message that Jesus gave was outside.
Mm-hmm.
On a mountain.
Highways and byways. The
hedges. Amongst the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he was. Relating to the people. Ministering to the people.
Your job is to save souls. And the souls you're trying to save are outside of the four walls.
He was not caught up in systems. He wasn't caught up in the production value. He wasn't worried about how it looks on the live stream.
That's right.
He just wasn't. And I'm gonna tell you that one thing that he said about how systems can work with or without God, he is absolutely true. He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. You can have a system in place that works really, really well, and people can go through the routine of church.
And that's all it is.
But what are they really getting out of it? So man, look, I get why people are upset.
I have no problem with you being upset with what that man said. I wholeheartedly, like I said, I clown you saying you hurt, but I agree.
Yeah, it's Eddie, it goes back, man.
Yeah. My brother Eddie, I knew my brother Eddie was gonna throw some history up in it, man. I love you, Eddie. He been posting some real good stuff up in there, man.
He actually got a link. Where did that link go?
Again, who taught us the system? My brother Eddie, man. I knew he was gonna throw some jewels.
Now, Eddie, what is this? Oh, okay. So this link here, guys, From what I understand, this is the free copy of the religious instruction of the Negroes in the United States. Now, what is that exactly? Is that a book or is that like what is that? What is that talking about? Because I need to know what that is. Because is that just in regards to how religion was used to keep black folks or to kind of keep them under subjection? I need to know what that is because, and you said it's free, so I'm gonna download it and check it out anyway. But look, I mean, it is what it is, you guys, and all of us play a part in all of us. For all of us that are believers, are part of the body of Christ.
Yes, sir.
And it's important for us to do the best that we can to be the best representation of the body. It just is, because it's so easy. People are looking for a reason to not believe in God. People are looking for a reason to not believe in going to church. They're looking for a reason not to tithe and not to give offering and things of that nature. They are looking for reasons. They're looking for that ammunition. It is our job as members of the body to be the best representation that we can possibly be. So we have to be wise in our words. We have to be wise in our actions because we just don't want to give people the opportunity to say, see, it ain't nothing to this Christian stuff. It ain't nothing to being saved. It ain't nothing to God because all of these people are criminals and they only want money and this, that, and the other. Listen,
That's not true.
and that's not
That's
not
the
true.
part I wish that people didn't believe
Yeah.
that the church is just about money. That's one of the main part. That's one of the main biggest lies about the church that I wish that people didn't believe so much. That because
Yeah.
people don't know, it's a lot of, not all pastors are living this Creflo Dollar life that y'all think every pastor living.
No. Listen, I want to show y'all this. Let me see if I can find this because somebody sent me this, and I will say if I'm gonna leave with oh, I don't know why that started playing. Hold on a second.
Oh my, don't pop. Hey.
Yeah, we it's not we don't watch, well, I don't watch Pokemon as much as I used to. I'm trying to see if I can find, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna I want to play this for you guys. I don't know if this is the one. Give me a second, Phil. Let me check and see if this is the one that I want to share, because people send me stuff and it's just like, all right. But it was a video of Kenneth Copeland. Now again, Kenneth Copeland is one of these guys that, I take him with a grain of salt. But this particular video was it was a little bit, it was from a year ago, but and I don't know why they sent it to me, because I guess we was talking about Tye Tribbett, and but it was a video of him, and he was talking about him going to Peru and some other stuff like that. And it was what he said and how he said it that did not sit well with me. And of course, I can't find the video. But I mean, it really doesn't matter because it's not really pertaining to what we're talking about, only to the extent where it's like, listen, be mindful. Be mindful of who you listen to. Be mindful of who you let minister to your spirit.
Yep.
Be mindful of the even, and I know it's easy to access churches now because you can watch this live stream and watch that live stream and all these other things. It's easy to access these churches, but be mindful, people. Be aware and ask for the Lord to give you discernment, because it's a lot of stuff that's out here, and it's a lot of people that claim they for God and they ain't really for him. And you just don't want to get caught up in that stuff where, now you going off and you following somebody, and then you realize that that person ain't doing nothing but leading you straight away to hell. Just be mindful. I mean, Kenneth Copeland if I'm gonna be honest, I think he kind of a nut job, but that's just me. Some people like him, and I'm not going to tell you who you should and who you shouldn't like. The only thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is to stay prayerful and to ask the Lord to, if you don't belong to a church, ask the Lord to lead you to a man or a woman of God who is preaching and teaching the truth, because that's the important part.
Yeah.
I don't need you to teach. I don't need you to preach you. I don't need you to talk about your life experiences and no. I need you to tell me what thus saith the Lord.
And I think, Mike, that's why a lot of people leave the church too, because maybe sometimes you're not sitting in the church you're supposed to be sitting in.
No, and that's okay. Here's the thing: it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really is okay. And just because you go to a church, it don't mean that you're supposed to die there. Some people are in a church right now, ain't growing, hasn't grown in the last 20 years, but they go there because they mama or they auntie used to go there.
Yeah. And just because you go to a church don't mean you come one Sunday and then come another Sunday, you instantly join. Take time out to make sure that this is the right church for you. Yeah, can't nobody force you to join. If they, no one's going to force you to join. So if it's going to take you a couple of Sundays, or no matter what, if it's going to take you a year of coming every Sunday, take your time and joining. See, that's a lot of things. So a lot of people, they come and they go to church like 2 or 3 Sundays in a row and instantly join when maybe they shouldn't have joined.
You know why? Because they got this. Now we got y'all been. I see we got these visitors. Y'all been coming out for the last 3 weeks, and now the Lord told me. I believe God, but I'm gonna open these doors, and I believe that once I open the doors to the church, y'all gonna walk right on through. Now look, don't disappoint me. Yeah. Don't disappoint God.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it with the guilt tactic.
Yeah.
Stop that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So, like, you can say what you will. That's why I'm glad that, and I'm sorry I gotta say it like this, man. I'm so okay how nobody feel, man. But I'm glad that God brought me to him now. I'm glad that he allowed me to see the world before he brought me to him. Because there's a lot of stuff that some people might see, and it's not gonna get over on me too quick. Because once I see things what it is, that's it.
That's it, man. And listen, I again, I pray. I'm praying for you all. I encourage you that if you're a believer, to pray and ask the Lord for discernment. If you're not
in a relationship with God for your own, that's the first thing you need to do.
That's what really I was about to say. Get your personal relationship.
Thank you.
Lord. Because once you have that relationship with the Lord, everything else that everybody is talking about don't matter.
Don't even matter.
It don't matter.
Once you make it about God, it's going to change.
As much as some of these preachers would like to believe, they don't have a heaven or a hell to put you in.
No.
They just don't. But get that relationship with the Lord, so that when you have questions and when you don't have to feel so, because sometimes we can, and sometimes in this walk we can feel restricted in how we feel and the questions that we have, and it causes us to lose faith and to lose hope. And you shouldn't, and I don't want you to have to experience that. And the one thing about God is that if you seek him, and if you really, really want to understand it, he'll give you the understanding that you need.
Mm-hmm.
I can personally attest to that. He'll give it to you if you're earnestly seeking, if you're earnestly asking for understanding, for, I need to know. I need to have a better understanding of this. I need to ask why, because I want to understand this more. Don't be afraid to ask God why. Even when the church has taught us not to. Don't question God. That's crazy. Lord, you told me in all my getting to get an understanding. I need to know why. You know what I'm saying? So, but get a personal relationship with the Lord, So don't be on y'all feelings about Tye Tribbett. I get it. Maybe he should have chose a better platform.
No, I ain't gonna tell no man they feelings. Y'all can be mad if y'all want to. He should.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Eddie, man. Appreciate you tuning in, my friend. But don't be in y'all feelings about Tye Tribbett. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not the first one to make statements like that, and he's not going to be the last.
No.
Understand that, yes, there are some issues. Understand that, yes, these things need to be addressed. Understand that if you're not offering solutions, then, yeah, you're probably part of the problem. But also understand that, let's not be so quick to condemn somebody for an opinion that they may have, because he's only speaking through the filters of his experience.
But in today's society, you got to think with the masses, Mike.
Yeah, man.
Society.
So you
can't have your own opinion in today's society.
Yeah, it's crazy. So be mindful, all right, and let's be more respectful of our neighbors. And man, look, and like I said, let's let's seek the Lord and seek the truth. And if you do that, I think you'll be all right. So that's gonna be it for us, because we started a little late and it's 8:40, so we made up for the time that we started late. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of you guys that hung out with us on this live stream. If you don't do nothing else, please do me a favor and like, tag, and share this video. Please tag somebody that you think may enjoy the conversation. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate any feedback that you guys may have. And listen, man, y'all already know, because I said in the beginning, I appreciate everything that you guys do to support this podcast. Everything. All of our support. I do not take it for granted. Mr. Hines, anything before we head out, sir?
Thank you all for tuning in. Be safe out there. Enjoy your weekend.
Spoken in true Russell Simmons fashion. Listen, it's the weekend. You all get out there, man. If you ain't got no plans, that's all right. Go love on somebody this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. She said, I didn't even know about this until now. Ty's cool with me. I ain't got no problem with Tye Tribbett.
No, yeah, no.
I don't have a problem with him. I don't have.
He really didn't say nothing wrong.
And he
really didn't say nothing wrong. But I'm not mad at anybody that got mad at what he said. I can't hold nothing against him.
I'm a little upset that I was expecting. There were a couple of people who I wanted to come on and kind of chime in, because they had such passionate opinions about what he said, and I kind of wanted to see, like, what was your opinion? What did you think? Because we can't have tunnel vision, y'all.
But
and it's easy to see things with just one perspective, from a single perspective. But we have to sometimes be objective. We got to be able to see it from both sides. You may not necessarily agree.
Folks don't want to be objective, Mike. That's the problem.
Yeah, man.
That's one of the biggest problems, where there will never be no solution, because if you're looking at things through a tunnel vision, you don't care about the problems, because you see it one way and that's it. Like I said, I can't get mad at you having an attitude what he said, because you see things that way. So I can't knock you, but let's not act like what he said was wrong.
I may not agree with it. I may not agree with his method,
Exactly.
But I don't necessarily disagree
Nope.
with what he said. And I just and as I said, there are things that exist, and it's things that needs to be addressed, and we just have to address them. And I think once we come to grips, and once we come to terms that these things exist and that they need to be handled on a leadership level. And I need to stress that it needs to be handled on a leadership level. And once it's taken care of, once it's addressed by the leader, I believe that you'll see that a lot of these issues would not be as prevalent as they are. But when the leader continues to let them go on, that's when you start to get the really, really big issues. But anyway, listen, appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Y'all.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Go check up on somebody on this weekend. Call them, see how they doing. Make sure they all right. I don't care who it is. Maybe it's somebody you ain't talked to in a while. It's okay. Send them a text and say, hey, man, what's up, chick? Hey, I'm just checking in on you, making sure you're doing okay. Fellas, check in on your brothers, please.
Yeah.
Check in on your brothers, man. Make sure they're doing all right. Some of us is barely holding on, but we ain't saying nothing. Check in on your brother. Make sure he good. We ain't going to have all the answers. I ain't got all the answers, fellas. But if you need to talk, hey, hit me up. I'm a great listener. Vent. If you need to vent, I don't mind. But dude, let's just be better. Can we do that this weekend? That's your assignment for the weekend. Just be better. And I think we're going to be all right. So look, next week we're doing this again right here on the Man Up Real Talk podcast. Same bat time, same bat channel, 7:00 p.m. CST. That's 6:00 Eastern. For those of y'all that roll on the East Coast, that's 8:00 Eastern, 7:00 Central, and 6:00 Mountain. See, woo! I'm getting them time. I'm getting them time frames. Yeah. Look at that.
And 5. I think it's 5 West Coast.
Yeah, it's 5 West Coast because they're a couple hours behind. So check us out, like, tag, and share, and all that good stuff. Listen, that's it for us. I love you all. Appreciate y'all. And until we talk again, my friends, y'all get 2 fingers to the side. Make sure you holler at your boy, because we out.
Peace.